Kiev, Ukraine. Rocky Balboa's former nemesis Ivan Drago, Dolph Lundgren, wakes up his son Victor, Florian Montigny, to start training. They later go to a boxing match where Victor competes against another man. With his massive size and strength, Victor dominates and knocks out his opponent. Watching them from the crowd is a promoter named Buddy Marcel, Russell Hornsby. Meanwhile, in the US, in the 3 years since he made a name for himself, Adonis, Donnie Creed, Michael B. Jordan, has managed to score 7 wins in a row after losing by default to Pretty Ricky Conlon. He is set to go up against Danny Stuntman Wheeler, Andre Ward, for a championship match. Donnie has a few words with Rocky, who reminds him that he needs to fight for himself and nothing else. He is also visited by his girlfriend Bianca, Tessa Thompson, just before the match. Donnie steps into the ring and fights Wheeler, whom he defeats, earning the cheers of thousands of fans, as well as the WBC World Heavyweight Championship. After the match, Donnie approaches Rocky Balboa, Sylvester Stallone, with an engagement ring that he wants to give to Bianca, but isn't quite sure what to say. He asks Rocky what he said to Adrian when he proposed, and Rocky says it was something stupid, but it was his way of saying how much he loved and needed her. He tells Donnie to let his heart do the talking. That night, Donnie tries to propose to Bianca after she gets out of the shower, and he expresses his feelings towards her, but her hearing aid wasn't properly tuned, so she didn't hear anything and just sees Donnie on one knee with the ring. Bianca is overwhelmed initially and isn't sure what to think, but after Donnie assures her how much she means to him, she accepts his proposal. Rocky visits Adrian's grave to talk to her. He mentions that he has not spoken to their son Robert since he left Philadelphia years ago and hasn't even met his grandson yet. Dragos arrive in Philly with Buddy backing them. Ivan visits Rocky's restaurant to face his nemesis for the first time in over 30 years. Ivan tells Rocky just how much he lost when Rocky defeated him back then. He not only lost all respect from Russia, but also his wife who left him and Victor, so this match is especially personal to Ivan. Meanwhile, Donnie and Bianca go out to eat and see a news report on Victor challenging Donnie for his championship title. The news people don't fail to mention that Victor is the son of the man who killed Donnie's father. During one of Bianca's concerts, Buddy approaches Donnie to essentially goad him into fighting Victor. Afterward, Donnie goes to talk to Rocky about the match. Knowing all too well how it ended for Apollo when he fought Ivan, Rocky doesn't want to see history repeat itself. He also hates that Donnie has no good reason to enter this fight, but anger and hatred. He tries to convince Donnie to rethink his decision to fight Victor, but Donnie is adamant about going along with it. Rocky decides to sit this one out and refuses to train Donnie for this fight. Donnie and Bianca, now settling in a new apartment in Los Angeles, later go to the home of Mary Ann, Felicia Rashid, to try and tell her about the fight. When Donnie tries to approach the subject, Mary Ann instinctively guesses that they came to announce that Bianca is pregnant. Although the couple laughs it off, Bianca then goes to take a pregnancy test, which confirms that she is. Donnie then goes to tell Mary Ann about the fight. She is not thrilled to hear that Donnie wants to fight, but allows him to with the condition that he does not involve her or Apollo in his reasoning for going through with it. Donnie goes to find Tony Little Duke Evers, Wood Harris, the son of the man who trained Apollo. He asks Little Duke to train him for the upcoming match, which Tony agrees to. Soon, a match between Donnie and Victor is held. Before the match, Ivan makes a comment about Apollo that almost sends Donnie into a rage. During the match, Donnie seems confident in himself, managing to get in a few good headshots of Victor, but Victor regroups quickly and comes back with some powerful shots of his own. Rocky watches the fight alone in his restaurant. Victor delivers some hard punches to Donnie's ribs, eventually fracturing them. He lands another brutal shot to the ribs which takes Donnie down to his knees And Donnie survives the fight and spends some time recovering, but his spirit is broken. Rocky tries to visit him at the hospital, but quickly realizes he is not welcome, so he leaves. In the following weeks, Bianca notices how distant Donnie is growing from everybody, especially her. Little Duke later approaches Donnie to tell him that Victor wants a rematch since Donnie is still the official champion. He also tells him that he can choose not to fight Victor, but he still has to pick an opponent to fight soon, or else he will forfeit the title. Donnie appears disinterested and leaves without answering. Meanwhile, Mary Ann sends a message to Rocky telling him that Donnie needs him, written on the back of a sonogram picture of the upcoming baby. Rocky makes the trip to Los Angeles and surprises Donnie at his mom's house. The two exchange a few barbs and eventually make peace. In Russia, the Dragos are having a celebratory dinner for Victor's success, which is disrupted when Ivan's ex-wife and Victor's mother Ludmilla, Bridget Nielsen, show up with her new husband out of the blue. Victor is displeased and walks out, but Ivan follows him and insists that these people are there for them. Eventually, Bianca gives birth to a baby girl that she and Donnie name Amara. The doctors then do a test on Amara to see if she has the same hearing problem as her mother. To their dismay, the doctors determine that Amara is born deaf. Outside, Rocky attempts to call Robert, but then backs out of it. Not long after Amara's birth, Bianca leaves Adonis alone with the baby for one night. The baby starts crying and Donnie finds himself unable to stop it. Out of inspiration, he takes the baby out on a ride that leads them to the gym. The baby quiets down and even smiles at her father when she sees him hitting the punching bag. This inspires Donnie, and he later has a serious discussion with Bianca about fighting Victor one more time. Bianca agrees but makes Donnie swear he will get back to his family. She then tells him that he better win. Adonis then meets with Little Duke and Rocky to discuss details and ask Rocky if he'll train him this time. Rocky agrees and orders Little Duke to call the WBC and make it official. Rocky decides to take Donnie to a remote location in the middle of the desert where every gym equipment is made up of rough materials to reinvigorate his spirit and make him accustomed to hellish conditions. They focus a lot on building strength and close combat situations. Meanwhile, Ivan puts Victor through more intense and harsh training sessions. The night of the rematch comes and takes place in Moscow. The Russian crowd obviously boo Donnie as he enters the arena, but Rocky, Bianca, and Mary Ann are there to support him. As the match begins, Donnie dominates the first round to send a clear message that this fight will not be like the previous one. However, Victor, again, regroups quickly in the second round and takes the lead with several body shots to Donnie's ribs and hard shots to the head. Victor wins the next couple of rounds and sends Donnie to the ground, but Donnie refuses to stay down and keeps getting back to his feet. In their respective corners, Rocky tries to give Donnie cues to take Victor down, while Ivan tells Victor to just break Donnie again. Soon, Donnie starts to land more effective blows, even managing to knock Victor down twice. When it appears that Donnie may be about to claim victory, Ludmilla leaves with her husband. Ivan and Victor take notice, and Victor appears to just lose the will to fight. Donnie starts laying in more hits until Ivan, who can no longer bear to watch, throws in the towel, thereby conceding the fight and allowing Donnie to remain champion. Ivan goes to his son, who brushes him off, thinking he will only give him hell for the loss, but Ivan instead embraces Victor. In the other corner, Rocky salutes Adonis with a fist bump and tells him, "It's your time now," before leaving. Rocky finally travels to Chicago to visit Robert, Milo Ventimiglia, and he meets Robert's son Logan, Robbie Johns. Robert introduces Logan to his grandfather